Good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to this session, Parisamvad, the beginner's spiritual quest. The word Parisamvad literally means a dialogue between Guru and the seeker, Guru and Shishya. The form of Guru Shishya dialogue is the foundation to many Indian spiritual texts. Take an example of Bhagavad Gita. It's a dialogue between Guru Bhagwan Shri Krishna and Shishya Arjuna. Various Upanishads. Take example of Kathopanishad. It's a dialogue between God of Death, Yamraj, and Nachiketas. Take an example of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It's a dialogue between Yajnavalkya and his wife Maitreyi. Even though husband and wife, they are discussing about higher truth, not about who is putting dishwasher and who is putting washing machine. Right? Often, when we begin our spiritual journey, we start exploring many things. We start reading various texts, we start listening to podcasts, we start surfing and watching YouTube videos. We also meet many people at social gathering where we start discussing this topic. We get many doubts, and then we try to solve them on our own. Sooner these doubts lead to confusion, and this confusion sooner turns into chaos. Today we have here Adharaniya Pramod Dada and Adharaniya Mukta Tai. We have an opportunity to clear our doubts, to clear our confusion, and to clear our chaos which is in our mind. No question is basic and no doubt is too small. We are here to clear them all. We have collected few representative questions and we will begin with them. We'll also have time for you to ask your questions, to clarify them with Pramod Dada and Mukta Tai. So the first segment, what exactly the sadhak or the seeker is willing to explore this topic. And there are a lot of terminologies which he is hearing or she is hearing. So the sadhak starts with a basic question: what is Advait Vedanta? If you could elaborate for us.
Sadhgurunath Maharaj ki jai. What is Advaita Vedanta? Vedanta means what has been already explained. We all know that the Anta part, which is the end portion of Vedas, is called as Vedanta, or to be precise, the gist, the essence of Vedas is called as Vedanta, which consists of Upanishads. And what Upanishads prescribed has been interpreted in multiple ways by many different philosophers. And there are different doctrine, I should say, different paths of interpretation of the meaning and the essence of Vedas. Many people have interpreted it differently. One of the way that Adi Shankaracharya has proposed the doctrine of this Kevala Advaita or Advaita philosophy is called as Advaita Vedanta, the interpretation of that in the format of doctrine of Advaita. Advaita oftentimes gets confusingly described as one. But Advaita doesn't mean one. Advaita means non-dual. No two. Doesn't. Now we oftentimes says ekameva dvitiya and one and oneness in all and all that thing. Because there is no other way to represent or to talk about, that's why we end up saying one. So seeing oneness, or rather seeing the one tattva, the essence, the Brahman, the Paramatma, whatever you want to call that oneness in each and every soul and each and every particle of this universe is Advaita. And not just seeing as in seeing with these eyes, obviously, we cannot see that. We will see the difference between a chair and a table. But to understand that the chair is made up of the same wood as the table is made, or I should say steel probably, because I'm sitting on a steel chair and a table is made up of steel as well. So seeing that same tattva, same principle, which is everywhere, throughout, and that is my true nature as well. So seeing that in me and seeing that in others as well is what Advaita Tattva prescribes. That doctrine helps us guide towards achieving that kind of a state. That is what Advaita Vedanta is.
Mukta Tai, you would like to add something?
So this is more of a philosophical explanation of the doctrine. Let's look at more of a practical use of why should I learn oneness in everyone. I have already so many things to learn. What is this extra thing to learn oneness in everyone? So Swami Vivekananda has given, it's a very famous sentence of Swami Vivekananda, the advantage of leading a spiritual life. And he says that a sign of a spiritual person is intense activity with eternal calmness from within. Intense activity with eternal calmness from within. So Advaita Vedanta philosophy, or this art of seeing the same tattva everywhere and everyone, leads us to a very practical position in life, wherein externally we can be very engaged and focused and efficient while operating in the world, and in the middle of all that chaos we can be completely calm and at peace from within. So Advaita Vedanta is a philosophy which will help us achieve that balance of leading a very engaged external life with complete mental peace from within. So that's how it is related to, or it should be related to us.
Thank you. This means we can do intense activity at professional life as well as in household and can remain at peace.
We are supposed to, after we learn. You can handle the same one issue and do the dishwasher and not exactly fight with each other while doing so.
Okay, so now that we got these basics correct, so Advaita Vedanta, what that is, we understood. Let's go through this journey of a beginner sadhak, and as he or she proceeds, and what kind of questions come up. So you talked today morning about what exactly is, where we are stuck, what is asat, mrityu, and so on, and where we want to go to. There are many people who are calling themselves that they are in the kindergarten of spirituality and so on. So we are still struggling to understand why is spirituality necessary in my life. So people think that we are honest, we are kind, we have a meaningful life, I have achieved worldly things, I have good family, and there is purpose to my life, and it is all good. I'm living my life with compassion and responsibility. So why is there still a need of any spiritual inquiry at all in my life?
I'll start with a quote of Bill Gates again. So Bill Gates gave a speech in front of high school graduates many years ago. And he told all the high school graduates, life is not fair, get used to it. What did he say? Yeah. So I am very honest, I am very hardworking. I have all the good intention to do the Satkarma and serve my family, do my duties, do good for society, do good for profession. And I genuinely try to do it, but in response, what I get is not always fair, not always right. And unless we learn to deal with the art of getting unfair things in life, which is what Vedanta teaches us, we will never be at peace while doing whatever it is we are doing. It can be family work, it can be professional work, it can be social work, anything under the sun. So the design of life is such that we are not meant to get proportionate responses to our actions or synchronous responses according to our actions. And that is where the spirituality can really help us insulate ourselves from within without isolating ourselves. And it teaches us how to really navigate the complexities of this life, which is why no matter what phase of life we are in, young, old, whichever profession we are in, whichever country we live in, whichever religion we belong to, the spiritual knowledge really insulates us, and which is why it is necessary, even if I am really a very honest, hardworking person, it is necessary to equip yourself with spiritual knowledge to be happy and to be sane in this insane world around us.
Everything is going great in my life. I have car, I have manure, I have good family life, I have good job, I have good bank balance, I have good financial status. Everything is great. Why should I study spirituality? That's the basic question. The counter question I'll ask is, right now it is going great. What if tomorrow things change? One should investigate and introspect in that. Right now market is doing good. What if tomorrow market crash? Right now you have good family. What if your family structure collapse? Right now you are doing physically fit and fine and you are doing your jogging for 10 miles and whatnot, running marathons. What if tomorrow something happens to you? Life can turn completely miserable, and when that happens with a sudden change, whether we feel miserable about it or not is the question that comes into the picture. So there is nothing guaranteed that the life that you are living right now or is going great will necessarily be like that. I hope it should not change. We all hope so. Let's pray to the God that everything should be great, no doubt about it. But if something happens, are we ready to deal with that situation? That's the question. And how do we emotionally stable? How do we find ourselves emotionally strong to deal with that situation in that particular time? And what should be our mental fortitude to fight those situations, as you just mentioned, right? Is something that spirituality teaches us. So how to detach from whatever is mine, right? My bungalow, my car, my job, my designation, my family, whatever is mine, to detach from whatever is mine, including my body, and finding out true who am I, and getting an answer to that question is the most important aspect of spirituality. And that is the only reason why one should study spirituality.
Detaching from body doesn't mean that leaving the body and going to some other room, not in that sense. It's basically a thought process, understanding your true self. So I just want to make sure we all understand that part.
True. The seeker who has all these questions, he has a lot of questions. But the seeker is also humble and he would like to clarify doubts. He is also having this surrender attitude, right? And with that, the questions are being asked. So now he is still trying to explore, still some doubts. When we hear about spirituality or Paramartha, there is one equation which comes to that Paramartha is equal to renunciate or Paramartha is equal to going to caves. And this is the thing which is bothering him. So the question, we all, I guess, mostly all of us are here householders. Is it really for us, spirituality or Paramartha? Can we do that while remaining in this worldly life?
I think we just already got the answer while we were introducing the topic, that most of the Guru Shishya pairs, you take Yoga Vasishtha, wherein Vasishtha Muni was a guru and Sri Rama was a disciple, and Sri Ram as a disciple was 16 years old. If you study the text Yoga Vasishtha, he is about to become prince, he is about to take over the whole kingdom, he is going to become the king of a very big Rajya. And that's when he has all these fundamental questions about what is life, what is the nature of life, who am I, who is God, why should I do anything at all? Even Prince Rama had all those questions. So Rama was a householder, Vasishtha was a householder. Nachiket and Yamadev Kathopanishad Samvad, Nachiket and Yamadev both were householders. Arjun and Shri Krishna were householders. Right? So most of the people who have contemplated on this philosophy, who have thought about the basic tenets of this philosophy, who have laid it out for us, they were not monks who sat in the caves. In fact, they were very extremely busy professionals, leading very, very busy professional lives, running the kingdoms in their times, when they have, in the midst of all that set of responsibilities, they have thought about very deep fundamental principles of life, which have kept them functional and efficient. So yes, it is made for people like you and me. A handful of people only become monks so that they can do the karya in the spiritual field on a broader basis, for a larger section of the society. But that's only a handful of people. For most of others, the more spiritually equipped we are, the more grounded we are in this philosophy, the easier it becomes to navigate through the complexities of the life. So definitely it is for all of us.
Okay. So that gives a hope.
There is a question from the audience. Yes.
What I'll ask. You want to ask now?
Thank you. This is a question which is related to what you just spoke. So, handful of monks go to the caves to bring this knowledge to the audience, but us grahasthas can just stay where we are and learn. So, do we take this, or I would rather want you to elaborate that to reveal this knowledge, to understand, one needs to go to the caves and meditate, but to learn it via somebody, we can be at home. Is that how it is?
I didn't get the second part of the question.
So no, it is not like that. If you want to learn on your own, then that's when you go to caves. No. You can learn it from someone, and you must learn it from someone. That is why this Guru Parampara is prescribed, and you have to seek and surrender it to the Guru in order to understand that. Right? This lineage has been there, and we have talked about it. But one need not go to the caves in order to study this philosophy. That's the point that we are making here. How many of you are trying to or want to become a monk? Can you raise your hands? Ever in your life? Sannyas? Anyone? No. Right? There is one? Maybe. Yeah, that's why we said it's very handful of, right? You can count on your fingers. So good. The point is, it is extremely difficult. Even if you go and wear orange robes and go to an ashram, there also you will be cooking something. You will be taking care of a library. You will be looking at doing the accounting for that ashram. you will be required to go and purchase the food for the rest of the monks and the fraternity. So there also you are doing the prapancha only. So understand this, as long as you are in a body, in this deha, as long as you are in the body, you will have to feed to the body. You will have to go and at least beg for, or ask for the lamps, right? You will have to seek that. The point is not about wearing orange robes and then going to the caves necessarily. The point is understanding the philosophy. And the point here, can we understand this philosophy? Can we learn while we are doing our household chores? The answer is yes, vehemently yes. In fact, there is a Marathi Sant Vachan, Prapanchi Rahuni Paramartha Kela Tochi Bhalare Bhala, Bhalare Bhala, Bhalare Bhala. That means those who are staying in the prapancha, in householders, and they are also doing and going on the path of spirituality, they are the best people. The point is if they are doing the paramartha, not just getting stuck with the prapancha. So you have to do the prapancha, which we are all doing, right? We all are grihasthas here, or want to become a grihastha. We will have the family and all the chores of the family. We do that. That's not the point. The point is, while you are in prapancha, are you doing paramartha or not? Are you going in that direction or not? That's the point. And if you are a true seeker, you will continue to move forward in this direction. And one must move forward in this direction without feeling stuck.
Maybe afterwards.
Oh, you have a connected one.
Connected.
Okay.
Yeah,
No, that's for the recording.
Don't take others for granted.
It's a related question on spirituality, like why we have to start this journey, right? I have one basic question. Everyone who are sitting here, they are at a certain level, you know, let it be financially, education-wise, they have achieved some things, so they're trying to explore what spirituality is, okay? So I understand all of that. And I also understand that we have to focus more on us, you know, basically. But the basic question that I have is, how do we also take the responsibility of spreading this, you know, in a positive way to the people? There are a lot of people who can't even think of spiritual journey. They are financially broken, relationship-wise, they are nowhere closer, you know, so they have no good education. You know, maybe, you know, I deal with a lot of people. So one of the questions that I have, that I'm asking myself, which I wanted so how do we spread this in a positive way, so that somewhere it has to start, you know? So while, yeah, we are all living a good life, I know people have a lot of issues or they are stuck somewhere, but you got my point. But somewhere I think we should take the responsibility, or I should take the responsibility rather than anyone else. First, I won't start my. How do you spread this so that the people who are not at there, who are not even aware, who can't even think, how do we do that?
There are two answers I will give, or 2 points, 2-step process I will take. First of all, this is a great question, and good that you are thinking about it. How do we spread this knowledge? We were just having a conversation earlier, a few minutes ago, while discussing with someone. The most important point about spreading the knowledge amongst others is being equipped with the knowledge ourselves, thoroughly and with conviction. The question that we need to ask, are we aware about the Vedanta philosophy or the knowledge ourselves in true sense? Have we accepted it, embraced it, adopted it, inculcated in our life or not? Ourselves. That's the first thing that you can do. If you remember her last sentence in her lecture, right? So that's the first step that we can do, is to really understand Oftentimes I get this question from a lot of parents, right? I know this is important. I have understood the value of Bhagavad Gita, but how do I get my son involved in this or educated on this, right? And then I say like, okay, go and teach him. If you have understood and if you have learned it, then why don't you go and teach Bhagavad Gita knowledge to your son? No, if I go and teach him, he will not accept it. Obviously, because you are a father and no kid is going to listen to the father, especially if that person is in their teens, right? So anyway, you got the point. First thing is definitely how can we spread this knowledge? Absolutely. Number one, understand ourselves, get involved, really master the subject and the topic before you start spreading to others. Number two, the second step I wanted to say is what we are doing right now, is getting involved in these kind of activities, the one that we are having right now, right? For example, these two gentlemen here, these two people have started this initiative. I'm sure there are others who have started the initiative in Adhyatmavari and some other topics. Karan sir teaches yoga sutras and spreading the knowledge and learning himself and spreading it further to the other people. Getting involved and contributing, voluntarily contributing into these kind of activities is equally important in order to spread the knowledge. And don't worry about the people who are financially downtrodden or poor or poorly educated or anything like that. That's their purvajanma prarabdha and their karma. Worry about ourselves. Worry about the self. Paramartha Shastra, Paramartha should be very swarthi. Do you understand swartha? Swartha means selfish. To begin with. Paramartha is very selfish, meaning I should be focused on myself first before I can help someone else. If I myself is getting drowned, if I am drowning myself, then how can I save someone? So I should learn how to swim, how not to get succumb to that kind of pressure. Then I can probably help someone and pull him to the shores.
Like in aeroplane, they say put your mask first before you
Correct. Exactly.
someone else.
Exactly. Does that answer your question?
I just want to add two sentences that our Guru Dr. Kaka told us. So one thing he said, as long as you are getting tears in your eyes, you cannot really wipe off tears in someone else's eyes. So we should learn not to be unhappy. Only then you can reduce the grief and suffering in someone else's life. That's number one. And the second thing he said was, the best advertisement, marketing gimmick for spiritual life is to be spiritual yourself. Your kids and your neighbors and your family members will not understand what you are telling them. They will understand what they see. When they see you change and transform into a better person, they will, if at all it is meant to be, the inquisitiveness, the curiosity will awaken organically and automatically. Oh, what is it that they are doing? So that they are so much at peace. What is different? What is new? Because he used to get angry every now and then till yesterday, and now what has happened? He just seems fine. So that's the best marketing.
We are getting a good guidance from the acharyas. We have to first self-equip ourselves. Yes, our mask first and then to the next person. And प्रपंची राहुनी परमार्थ केला तो भला रे भला पंत महाराज ने कहा है पंत महाराज. Yes, so thank you for that. Let's take one question from our list, and then if any, I saw some hands already. Maybe we are covering few things, so let's proceed a little bit and then come back to the audience. So the seeker is going further and trying to understand what exactly spirituality is. Many a times when we walk on this path, what happens is the close family or friends, they start saying, aren't you too young for this? In Marathi, in our family, they said, आत्ता काय तुम्ही दासबोध हातात घेतलाय? हे दासबोध वाचायचं वय नाहीये तुमचं. So they say this is not the age to understand, learn the scriptures like Dasbodh or Jnaneshwari or Bhagavad Gita. That's on one side, and on the other side, it is also said if you start it after, let's say, retirement or something, it's too late now. So, what is the right age to start?
So I'll ask a counter question to you. If I give you $1 billion, would you rather have it at age of 20 or age of 70? When do you want to have $1 billion?
Good question.
I would rather be born a billionaire.
Exactly, yeah.
So the thing is, this philosophy is precious than $1 billion. And the sooner you equip yourself with this philosophy, the more a glorious life you can live ahead. Right? And this is not, there will be, because all of us are householders, we have all been living our past worldly life in a certain way all these years. I used to go to movies, I used to go for parties, we used to play cards, and we used to have these weekend get-togethers, hotel. And then one fine day she just stops coming everywhere, she is not interested in movies, no discussions, what's wrong with her? There will be a period of transition when this friction will be there with your old relatives and acquaintances. People will come and mock you. They will come and question you. They will come and criticize you. They will say you're out of your senses and all of that. But if you hold your ground, and if you sustain through that transition phase of being a complete newcomer to gradually progressing on this path, not just in a verbal sense, not just in a theoretical sense, but also trying to actually transform your behavior, eventually as you settle into a new way of life, the same old people who were criticizing and questioning you, one day will come to genuinely respect you for who you are and for the new path you have chosen. And then they will genuinely try to learn the way of life, if at all they value this new way of life. So, but there is a huge period in between. And its huge period can be 10, 12, 20 years. We have to be ready to sustain through that transition phase of going from old way of life to new way of life. But, that's the answer.
Oftentimes when we ask this question to young people, they say I have to live the life, I have to see the world, I have to do all that thing. And when we ask this question to the old people, they say, oh, and my time is already past. I should have started on this path much ahead, much earlier. Right? And so the answer, as she said, is now. Literally, now is the answer. Wherever you are, whatever age you are, whatever spiritual growth you have right now, till date, if you really want to make significant impact in this lifetime on your spiritual journey, the time is now. Because it's already running out of our hand as the sand. You hold the sand on the beach and how it slips away from our hand, that's how the time is going. So there is no right answer to that, whether you should study it in the 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, it doesn't matter. Start now. That's it.
Since you talked about $20 billion, I got suddenly enlightenment, and my eyes are lightened. So,
Maybe you can read that.
But I also understand that you mentioned that there is something more precious than $20 billion, right? And the seeker is now really interested, would like to explore, would like to start. We all are people with action. We just want to start something. Yeah, we get eager. There is a lot of information available. If you just go on the internet or surf YouTube or podcast, then the algorithm runs in a way that you will keep on getting all the recommendations. So for a seeker, now he has made his mind that he doesn't want $20 billion, but he would like to have something precious than that. How to navigate and where to start?
How to navigate and where to start? Start with where you get most connection. Connection with a particular sampradaya, with a particular doctrine, with a particular philosophy. There is no one philosophy that is prescribed in Hindu scriptures, in Vedic Sanatana Dharma. There are many, but try to find out where you resonate most. And then most important is try to stick with it for some time at least. What we do is oftentimes window shopping. Is everyone familiar with window shopping? Yes? Doesn't look like. Do you have sales here on Thanksgiving and Christmas? Yeah? What do? We go on the window shopping. We like here, test the waters here, check the prices here, go on that sale. We discuss among friends which is offering the best and better deal, and we try to go there and that place, right? What happens is we end up wasting a lot of time. Actually, we want to go and buy only one thing, but for that one thing, we end up spending 2 hours and going to 10 different places. Similarly, what happens is, in this particular path also, a lot of people end up doing lots of this window shopping. As you said, there is ton of information available on YouTube, ton of information available online, ton of workshops, ton of retreats, tons of spiritual discourses, and so on and so forth. The idea is not to go and test each and everything. You go to the ice cream shop and can I taste it? Can I also have some taste of that? Especially the young kids, they do that, right? They'll collect 5, 6 different and then they will decide on one. Don't waste your time like that. Stick to the one where you personally feel connected with that particular sampradaya, that particular doctrine, that particular guru, parampara, I should say. And then just be with that. Walk the path, learn from that. And that is your goal, ultimate goal. So you stay and then figure it out what is right for you.
Connected question to that. To stick to one, you have to first understand at least a few, right? To see where you connect to. So that's fine, right?
Yes.
5, 6 options are open and now...
Absolutely. Go explore. I'm not saying don't explore. The problem is we keep exploring for years together. 10 years I spent studying this, 20 years I went to that, 2 years I spent in Uttarakashi or whatever, like some ashram somewhere. Then I went to this southern India, I spent 2 years there. I'm visiting here, I'm visiting there, I'm going here, I'm going there. And then you just keep wandering without getting attached to one doctrine, one principle, one philosophy. And that's where the problem happens. Because ultimately all paths are going to lead to that same thing. If J. Krishnamurti or Raman Maharshi or Nisargadatta Maharaj resonate more with you, follow that. If Maharashtrian Sant or Bhakti Parampara, Maharashtra hi nahi, all over the place, Mirabai, Kabir Das, in Bengal there are Bhakti Parampara, which is very, very prominent. You get attached to one thing. If you are yoga practitioners, you practice yoga and follow with that, with conviction. Right? Ultimately, everything will lead to the same thing. But sticking to that one thing and following it consistently, that's where the problem lies. We may think that we have stuck to the one person, but we lack consistency on that. Even one practice. For example, we think that we are attached to this particular doctrine now. Okay, yeah, I belong to this sect or this philosophy. We say that. But are you following it consistently? That's where the progress comes, the consistency. If not consistently, then it becomes again shambles.
I just remembered a story this regard. If I'm not wrong, it's probably Swami Sarvapriya has told this story, or I heard it somewhere in one of the lectures, wherein there is this person who is in search of a guru, and he goes and talks to this person, this Maharaj, that Maharaj, this ashram, that ashram. He's going everywhere. He's talking to many, many different gurus. He's asking questions. They are answering his questions. And this is not working. No one is resonating with me. No one is answering my questions. I am not getting satisfied. One day he goes to some ashram and he talks to some guru who is very close, but not exactly that he is looking for. So he says, Maharaj ji, सब कुछ ठीक है, आप बिल्कुल ठीक हो, अच्छे हो, but आप रामकृष्ण परमहंस नहीं हो. You are not Ramakrishna Paramhans. So Maharaj Ji says, are you Vivekananda? Right? So we have to really figure out what is it that I am looking for. Some sampradaya, some guru, some tattvagyan, some guru parampara has worked for him. It may not work for me. Fine, right? But once, as he said, there are a limited number of options and limited time we can explore. There is a phenomenon called analysis paralysis. Is everyone familiar with it? Analysis paralysis. The more choices you have, the more paralyzed you will be. So draw a line somewhere. If I have to buy a car, I cannot keep on reading user reviews all my life. I have to buy the car and sit in it at some point. So start somewhere, and that will definitely help. Another thing that I remember what our guru told us, this is not about finding sampradaya or guru, but in general about spiritual life. Remember, none of us is a monk. We don't have 24 hours to study Bhagavad Gita. We have real things to do, which is solving 7 issues, doing a dishwasher, filing taxes, finding a parking spot. We have real problems to solve, right? So, doing all the duties of a householder, of a professional life, we have very limited time to do our spiritual study and spiritual practice. I remember when we joined Microsoft many years ago, we were given a training. The name of the training was Precise Questioning and Answering, PQ8. That was the name of the training. When you go into an exec review meeting, you cannot keep on asking a question for 5 minutes. You have to be very precise on what you want to ask. And you have to be very precise on how you answer. So similarly, we have to be very precise in our spiritual practice and spiritual path in general. The quicker and sooner you can find that precision, the more helpful it will be for you. Otherwise, whatever little time we have for doing our spiritual practice and study will be lost just in the exploration. Exploration is not the point. Doing the spiritual sadhana is the point. And which is why we have to start somewhere and start soon.
I'll bring the mic there. I just remember one sentence by Dr. Kaka that one needs to avoid spiritual window shopping and spiritual dating. That's good.
Thanks. So, on one side, we say that we are at the beginning of the journey, and there are many questions in our mind itself. One thing which we have also seen in India is, especially in India, I mean, very many of these gurus, yes, some of them are running it like a business. For them it is a real business, and some show up in jail as well after a few years. What are the telltale signs that we are going down a wrong path here? Are there any guidance around that?
Excellent question, and rightfully so. It's extremely important to understand when we talk about finding a guru and finding a path and where we want to land ourselves and not get cheated by that. Unfortunately, this particular profession, if I may call it as a profession, of spirituality, have too many sellers sitting there trying to sell you something and trying to convince you that come to me and I'll tell you and I'll give you the liberation. I'll invoke your kundalini in like 20 days. Come to my retreat and in 2 days I'll make you blissful. As she said, it's a journey for ages, right? 10, 20, 30, 40 years, you have to devote your lifetime actually. Nothing happens in 2 minutes or 5-day retreat by the way. Okay? So don't fall for that. Number one is, if somebody is asking some money, whatever that may be, small or big, right? And asking and forcing you to do the courses, stop. That's your first red flag. No guru, the true spiritual guru is going to ask you anything monetary benefits out of whatever he or she is going to try to teach you or tell you. That's the first and foremost criteria. If you are getting forced to do this course and then after that you have to do that course and then after that you have to do another course, then there is some advanced course lined up for you and attend this course and that course, just watch out for that. You may try to explore again, as he said, window shopping or dating, but that's not really the case. Because that's number one. Number two, I would say the guru should be there to help you, and that means the guru should be accessible to solve your personal problems, personal difficulties. When I say personal problems, I don't mean filing taxes and solving servants and doing dishwashers. What I really mean, issues that you have, the questions, the doubts that you have about your life in general, about spiritual life, about spiritual journey in general. The guru should be accessible in the sense that you talk to that person. Oftentimes I have seen this, and again, nothing wrong about it, but many people try to go to a place such as Gondavli or Sajjangarh or other places, right, where they try to get the Nama mantra from the Samadhi, right? And it's a practice which is very commonly followed in many places, which is fine. The problem comes is when after getting that Nama mantra, they feel a little bit stuck. As to, I have taken the Nama mantra, it's been going on for 3-4 years now, good for me, but now I have this question, I have this doubt. Who is going to help me with that? They cannot go and ask that question to that Samadhi. So that's why having a guru who is accessible and who can help you and who you can talk to and get the guidance and, help you tread the water, as they say, right, is extremely important, and understanding that makes it more and more valuable and easy for us to walk on this path of the spiritual journey.
One more thing, it's very easy to get disillusioned when we read all these newspaper cases and social media and the media news with someone doing some problem in the spiritual field. Remember, they are outliers. If some ashram and some guru is really doing a good authentic work, it will never make the headlines of the newspaper. So the best of the gurus and the best of the spiritual teachers will not necessarily be marketing themselves in a traditional manner. Some of them may be through direct, indirect channels. They may be making themselves at least accessible to a certain extent. But in many cases, they may not be in the headlines of any newspaper, any part of any social media news, anywhere. You have to really go and search. That is number one. And just because one person is doing a malpractice, just because one doctor is doing a malpractice, we do not stop going to the hospital. We keep on looking for a better doctor and better hospital. So it's very important to remember that we all are born in India and we are blessed to be part of a country and a land where not one, not two, not 100, there are thousands and thousands of spiritual gurus and sampradayas and texts all across the land of India who have been there for many centuries. And as it was given in that Q&A session, I am not Vivekananda, right? I have to really figure out what my necessities are and who can come down to my level to answer my questions. And if I can find such a person who can help me at my level, I should at least start with that, without any commercial interest, without any glamour associated with it. Start there. They say that it is a Ishwari Yojana. This is not related to a specific guru, specific sampradaya. That a person for whom the spiritual quest awakens in his mind, for any person, anywhere on the planet. Irina is sitting there, you can just go talk to her in your spare time. She was an atheist to begin with, she had no belief in any god. And she was not even looking for a guru, right? She was not even looking for a spiritual growth. But still she is here today, studying Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads for past 19 years, right? So the important part is, start where you are, start with a person who can help you at your level. And once you put one foot in the door, it is Ishwari Yojana that the other doors will keep on getting opening for you. The doors will be opened for you, the questions will be answered, there will be the help would be given in different forms at different times. But whoever needs a help will get the help. That is the Ishwari Yojana. In some form. Have that faith, have that Shraddha. And as long as my seeking, as long as my questions are genuine, I will get the genuine help. There is just a small story I'll tell, which often Dr. Kaka says, there is a person who hears that in our city, in our village, some guru has come who has a special siddhi that if you give him one note of 100, he will give you 2 notes of 100. So he goes there, he gives 1 note of 100 rupees and he gets 2 notes of 100 rupees. He comes back home only to realize he was cheated. Now this news comes in the newspaper and we say, oh, arre bechara aadmi lut gaya, right? Oh, he got cheated. But then our Guruji was saying, both of them are greedy. One is a stupid greedy and one is a smart greedy person. So if when we go to a Guru, we have any stupid wishes, we will get a person who will fulfill my stupid wishes. And if I have genuine wishes, I will get a Guru who will give me a genuine guidance. So it all depends on what is it that I want. I hope that should answer at least some questions.
The Bhagavad Gita talks about, of course, Karma Yoga, it talks about Bhakti Yoga. It also touches on, I think, Advaita philosophy. So, what does it really prescribe, or does it reconcile between these different margas, the Bhakti Marga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga? Does it at the end conclude and say that this is a better way for you? That is my question.
So, So, at the end of 18th chapter, Bhagavan Krishna has told everything about Karma Yoga, meditation, Dhyan, Jnana, Kshetra, all the philosophy. And end of the 18th chapter, he says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Come back and take refuge in me. If nothing else is working, you leave everything and you actually surrender to me. Take refuge in me. Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo. I will liberate you from the bondings of karma, the papa and punya, and moksha ishyami ma shuchaha. Don't be unhappy. So at the end, that has been given, saying that if surrender to God in a true sense. Now what exactly does surrender to God mean? It's a huge topic. It's the topic of entire 12th chapter. We will not get into it right now. But that is one conclusion given at the end of Gita. That being said, I'll just add one more thing which we learned from our Guru, that there is no one right path, one size fits all approach is not true in spiritual path. Even within a family, 2 brothers, 2 sisters, husband and wife can have completely different approaches of progressing in a spiritual path, and we have been given that freedom. Just because, for example, my husband is very good at doing puja and doing arti and doing the bhakti, I will not be mandated to do my spiritual practice in the same fashion that he is doing. I will be prescribed. Okay, this is a mix for you, but nothing is mandated. You are given a mix of spiritual practices. Whatever works for you, you can put more emphasis on that. You can do the other practices as more complementary practices, but this is a more dominant practice for you, and you can do it that way. So there is a mix and match of different approaches, and you can do, that mix can be very different for different people. That is number one. Also that mix and match of spiritual practices can vary even for a single person in his spiritual path. So when I'm beginning, I can be, for example, putting a lot more emphasis on karma yoga and very little on understanding the philosophy. As I progress, I can put more emphasis on meditation. As I progress even more, I can put more emphasis on understanding the philosophy itself. So it all depends on where I am in my spiritual path and what works for again me as a person.
It also depends on your pinda. मराठीमध्ये पिंड म्हणतो आपण. So a person, स्वभाव, आपका स्वभाव क्या है? What is your nature? Temperament. A person who is very clear, very thoughtful, can think clearly, has a good intellect, can probably follow this path of spirituality on a jnana marga, where he can discern, he or she can discern the thing, contemplation, vichari, sadvichari and all that. But if the buddhi, the intellect is not stable, it's not clear, right? It's chanchal, chitta chanchal. Chitta chanchal is too much, then you are prescribed bhakti marga. Go do Bhagavad Gita puja. Go do the Nam Jap, chanting of the Lord's name. But you even cannot do that long. I sit for the puja and I'm like feeling like, okay, I cannot sit it for too long. Okay, that's fine. Don't sit there too long. Go get up and do karma yoga. Try to serve the manhood. Try to serve the beggars. Try to serve the downtrodden people. Do karma yoga. So there are different kind of answers that are there, and that is why Bhagavad Gita, being the amalgamation of the philosophies and all the Upanishads, kind of prescribes and explains all these different spiritual paths. But ultimately it depends on you to find out what is your nature, and if you cannot decide, find out your nature, then you go and seek the Guru. Guru will tell you what is your nature, or will identify and will prescribe you appropriately the medicine that is required for you to get over your ignorance. Some people are very nigrahi, deterministic, strong determination, right? And they are good for yoga practice because you need that kind of a determination. And I am going to sit like this. Like among all the people, only Kenan sir is probably sitting with a lotus position right now. Now that is a determination that is required to have that focus of the mind and focus of the body and this discipline to put our body in that particular position for that long. That is a dhyana practice, that is a yoga practice. You need to do the siddhi of yoga. Not everybody can do yoga. Not many people who study yoga, they don't even know what is yama and what is niyama. If you ask them, are you following yama niyama, they go, what does that mean? No, we go for yoga classes, by the way. Oh yeah, we have been studying yoga for the last 20 years. Oh yeah. But what are they studying? They are only doing the exercises of body. एक टांग को ऊपर उठाओ, दूसरे टांग को नीचे डालो. No, that is not yoga. Understand? That is only the asana part of it. So what I am trying to tell you is, it depends on your nature, your swabhav, your pinda, as to which path should I choose. It depends on that. So find the right path, and so that you can propel there. And the simplest of all the paths, as Bhagavan prescribes, is the Bhakti Marga, which is the surrender to the Lord and doing the Nam Jap and Nam chanting. In Kali Yuga, that is the simplest path. The Raja Marga jisko kehte hain, right? It's the Raja Marga. So that's how it is prescribed. Hope that answers your question.
Okay, so it's the combination of different yogas and we have to find our temperament. What are the other qualities of a seeker? So we have to first understand what is our pinda, what is our temperament, and accordingly maybe stick to one path or make a combination, nishkam karma, dhyana abhyas and so on. What are additionally other things the seeker must have?
The seeker who is householder must understand that he or she has to devote the time for the family, for the society, for the work or vyavasaya, business that they are in. So they need to first understand what is the time limitation that they can provide or identify. Number one. Number two, they must commit to the rest of the time that is there after doing all these things and doing the dishwasher and filing your taxes and taking care of your servants. There is still time in a day. What are you going to do during that time? And that's the most important question. So the seeker must find the right time for him and find a time during the day, during the 24 hours, identify a time where I am going to allocate this time for my spiritual practices and follow that consistently, day over day, without taking a weekend break. Otherwise, oh, we have this weekend coming and we have to go somewhere, and then we have this practice, and there is a potluck schedule, and then there is another party. So yeah, it's just a weekend now, so we'll take a break from our spiritual practices. That's not going to help much. Yeah, you can start, that is how you will begin, obviously, but it's not going to help you much. So it's the consistency that matters. Consistency of staying with the thought is important. The thought about the philosophy. I am Brahman, for example, if that is what you latch onto, or Nimitta Matram Brahma Sarvasya, if that is what you latch onto, or Sarvadharman Parityajya, as she just mentioned, the surrender. Latch onto one thought and stay with that thought for some time, for a day, for a month, for a year. Try to practice that. Try to imbibe that thought. Let it sink in your head. Let it get internalized with you. And for that it takes a year. And like that, years together. So that consistency matters. And then the third one I will say is, understand and ask your guru, what is the right medicine for me? Whatever is prescribed, take the right medicine. 1 tablet a day. Your doctor prescribes, or 2 tablets a day. 1 in the morning before lunch, 1 in the night after lunch. Now you do that, right? You take the tablets. Similarly, your guru will prescribe you. Do meditation 20 minutes in the morning. Read Bhagavad Gita or whatever the granth that is given to you. Do this particular Nama Japa. What? So all this is a combination. There is no just one thing. Whatever is prescribed medicine, do that, take it, and then you will progress. You will make the progress.
So diversify your portfolio to maximize your return.
I'll again, one other quality of a spiritual seeker, especially in today's age, and especially because all of us are highly educated, scientifically, mathematically trained brains, and it's very difficult for us to accept anything on leap of faith, right? I want to see concrete results, and I want it like in 20 days, 21 days, learn Java in 21 days. You can learn Java in 21 days. These days you can do it in 21 minutes with ChatGPT. But spiritual philosophy and spiritual journey is not 21 days journey unless you are born with that much spiritual capital. Right? For most of us ordinary seekers, it's a long process, and it's extremely important. Number 1, as I said, consistency, but number 2 is Shraddha. Bhagavad Gita as a text has survived for more than 5,000 years. Upanishads as our text have survived for more than 5,000 years through generations and through many foreign invasions, with people destroying our texts and our culture. These texts have survived the test of time. Today, not just in India, but across different Western countries, in many universities, people are getting into the Upanishad and Gita studies. They are spending time on it. So there has to be some value in this philosophy, right? Anyone who is teaching Gita is not teaching his or her personal opinion or personal experience of life. No one is teaching that. Everyone is teaching what Krishna has originally told on the battleground. And that's a philosophy which is very deeply connected with human life and all the human problems. Krishna knows how to solve them. So even if I am facing a problem with Sevan or whatever, Krishna knows how to resolve that problem. He doesn't know how to solve the bug, but he knows how I should be approaching that problem in my life. And only if I have faith, only if I have trust in the teachings, only then they will really make sense to me. So I know our analytical brain doesn't allow us that easily to have faith, and we don't get to see instant results. As I said, there is a period of time when the worldly life and the old attachments and old friends and old way of life kind of goes away, it dilutes, and I am not yet attached to the new way of life. Dhobika Kutta. So I am neither a completely spiritual person, I am also not doing complete justice to my householder professional responsibilities. I can't enjoy my old playing cards, going to movies like old days, but I am not so spiritual that I will sit down with Bhagavad Gita for 24 hours. So we have to have that Shraddha and faith and consistency through that transition phase to actually go from one track to the other, only to realize that they are not two different tracks, it is only one single track. We just never knew it. But until we learn that, we have to be very patient and have Shraddha on the fact that this text, this philosophy is going to help me solve my problems in my current situation. So that Shraddha.
And problem solving doesn't mean again fixing the servants or fixing the dishwasher. That's not the problem solving. The perspective that you generate or you get out of the problems or looking at the problems is changed. Right? Bhagavan is not going to come to you and help you with all your problems. Okay, let me sort it out, guy. You are not going to hire what is the thing called? Household manager? Home manager?
We actually
Home manager, right?
some I'm forgetting the
There is a title, there is a new profession coming up. I don't know if you guys know this or not. Maybe some of you are probably aware, but there is this new profession, like this super elite people, high class people, they are busy with whatever that they are doing now, right? And they want someone to take care of their house. Okay? So they have cook, they have driver, they have all sorts of maids, servants at the home, but they don't have time to even engage with these guys. So they hire a person, they'll pay a good amount to manage the maids, manage the cooks, so that this person will coordinate with the dietitian to consult, okay, what Shantanu should be eating, and then that dietitian will tell, and that this house manager is going to give that information to the cook to get the food ready for Shantanu. And oh, by the way, and Sampada has this particular problem that she needs to deal with, so she has a special need, special medication, so he'll go and collect the medicines from her, and not only collect but remind and will feed Sampada those medicines, ensure that she is taking it on time because she is having some issue right now, and that's the job of this house manager. I'm not kidding, this isn't it true. So that's kind of a profession is coming up.
And just the qualities of a seeker kind of reminded me of one more story of our Guru Dr. Kaka, who was a doctor by profession. 50 years ago, when there were very few facilities in the villages, no electricity, no road, no water, and he had a small clinic set up wherein he would serve many different villages in the vicinity. And his clinic would be full of patients all the time, like 16-18 hours a day. And we have not seen this ourselves, but we have heard it from other people, other senior people in our family, that when he would sit there to treat his patients, on a table, in the desk, in the drawer of the desk, he had a copy of Jnaneshwari, which is the Marathi version of the Bhagavad Gita, kept in the drawer. And in between two patient visits, even if he had 2 minutes of free time, he would take out the Jnaneshwari and he would read one OV anywhere, any page. But he did not waste even those 2 minutes in between two patient visits. He was lucky not to have mobile phones. But even if he had, I'm sure he was wise enough not to waste the time. So as he said, if you can save those 2 minutes, 5 minutes throughout the day from mindless scrolling and devote that half an hour of your time into some focused, precise study of one text, or doing those 20 minutes of spiritual practice by eliminating the doom scrolling, definitely year over year you will see the results.
Great. Since you talked about food, the seeker is already hungry for the knowledge, and the doubts are slowly getting cleared. So we also heard about the question of Guru. Yeah? So the seeker doesn't have yet any Guru, or Guru has not yet appeared or had his grace on the sadhak or seeker, initiated. But the tendency is, I just would like to eat. Like, when we are hungry, we just would like to eat whatever is there. Similarly, the tendency is until I get initiation, I would like to do something. Yeah? I just want to do something because we are so active people, and in the initial phase, I think, depending on, of course, Pinda and characteristics, most of the people may not have that analytical mind. They would like to do something, doing something, and they start doing some practices. So the question this seeker has is, until he gets initiated, what kind of sadhana practices can be done or can be avoided?
So I'll just say two things. One is, if you have any specific devata or dev or form of God that you feel affinity for, right? I really love Ganesha. We all have that emotional connect. Oh, I really love Rama, or I really love Krishna. If there is an associated open mantra with that deity, like for Sri Rama, there is Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, which is an open mantra. For Shankara, if you have affinity, very few people have affinity with Shankara, by the way. But if you have, then there is a mantra for Shiva. So one way is to take one of these open mantras and start chanting the mantra. That's number one. Number two, whoever is your favorite god, just genuinely, if you sit down and ask him to show you the path ahead, you will get some signal on what to do, where to go, where to explore. So genuinely, when you talk to God, like, do something for my son, do something for my daughter, say do something for me, help me progress in the spiritual path, and the prayer does get answered. You will see some path, some flash of light somewhere.
Yeah, one of the beauty of Hindu philosophy is the deity and the temples and the worship of the deity. This is not very common practice in some of the other religions. I mean, I understand that there are Quran, masjids and churches, and you go to churches and whatnot. But the way the puja vidhi is prescribed in Hinduism, it's not prescribed anywhere else, is to really see the form. जो कहते हैं ना लड्डू गोपाल, right? लड्डू गोपाल के लिए वो कृष्णा जन्माष्टमी के दिन जो हम बनाते हैं भोग, छप्पन भोग चढ़ाना and all that thing. You really pour your heart and your emotion into preparation for these things. So what my point I'm trying to make, and I'll make it very crisp and short, is doing the Saguna Bhakti is very, very important, and for that, worshipping a particular deity on a daily basis is equally important to propel. As she said, that sit in front of the Lord and ask for the guidance. Your prayers will be answered. Which God, where, if you are confused, ask your parents. They will tell you whatever is your Kula Devata or Kula Devata. Oftentimes we have this concept, especially for Indians, they might be aware about this, right? There is a lineage of that, or family god, as they say. Check with your parents if you don't know. If you know, worship that, and that will lead you to the right path.
Other thing that can again help is really have open ears and open eyes otherwise. Many a times you may not be sitting in a temple or in front of a god, but just while listening to some random lecture on YouTube somewhere, something comes, some signal comes, and if you are smart enough and open enough and wise enough to catch that signal, okay, this resonates with me. Yeah, this does make sense to me. Go and try to explore it more. We are not Arjuna, that Krishna is going to come in a Chaturbhuj form in front of me and give guidance. I am not Arjuna. Be very realistic. So Krishna is going to send his help in some form in front of me. And he is not going to tell you that this is the help I have sent to you. You have to be smart and wise enough to recognize that the help has been given to me and for me. And at many different points, checkpoints in your life, the help will be sent to you as long as you have a genuine wish within. You have to be wise and smart enough to catch it. So through YouTube lectures, through your exploration, wherever you feel, okay, this resonates with me, this does make sense to me, stop there. and explore it deeper and further.
Okay, so we talked a lot about Guru, Shishya, Ishwari Niyojan, surrender. Let's come to the next topic, which is, I think, in the minds of many people, which is detachment. And is it really possible at all? So, having no attachment to our own children, to parents, to family, our loved ones, seems almost impossible and even unnatural at times. And the love and the bonding are such a deep part of being human. So, how can one practice non-attachment while still loving and caring deeply, for example, for one's parents and children?
I'll tell a story. So there is this doctor who is extremely proficient. He has spent a long day at his hospital. He comes home and he is about to go to bed when a call from the hospital comes that there is this emergency case, you have to come right now to treat a patient. And he's like, no, I want to go to bed, but it's his duty, so he goes there. And he is the only doctor in that hospital who can treat that patient on that given evening or that given night. He goes on the table of the surgery and he sees that it's his only son. Right? Now he is the only doctor who can treat it in that moment. No other doctors are present. So if a doctor has to perform the surgery, a very critical surgery on his son, for him to do that surgery efficiently, would it help if he is extremely involved, or would it help if he is detached? For you to do the right thing, whether it is your son, whether it is your parent, whether it is your job, the problem comes when we are only detached. What spirituality is teaching us is detached engagement. We have a problem that we are only engaged and not detached, or we are only detached and not engaged. What Bhagavad Gita is trying to teach us is that detached engagement, wherein you can really do the right thing for your son through his education, through teaching him right and wrong, if you are detached from your son, because only then you can teach him the right thing. So that's one answer, and there can be many answers. There is a whole topic on detachment tomorrow, but I'll stop here for now.
I'll ask one more question and then we take a question from audience after this question. So many people try to follow a spiritual path, but at home the environment is completely opposite. Family members may not understand spirituality and may mock it. And then the seeker has to be in constant stress, emotional distress and conflict. When the home environment itself feels discouraging, how can someone continue on this path?
Get detached from the home environment. I mean, again, that was a curled answer there, but the point is, there will always be people who will try to mock you. We discussed this, I think in question and answer session also, a few questions prior to this, we talked about it. That somebody in the family may not necessarily like you studying Bhagavad Gita at this age. Bhagavad Gita right? We discussed about that. Somebody will say that you should not be spending so much time in front of the Lord doing the puja, but actually take care of the family members. And your kid wants you as a mom and as a dad to play with him or her. Your parents wants you to serve them rather than you studying Bhagavad Gita, for example. What is more important is doing your duties towards them and seeing the Lord in them. So when I say detached, What I mean is, if you can find out the Advaita that we talked about in the first question, that present in my parents, and they are my parents, and me doing my duty towards my parent is actually doing the worship of the Lord. Me taking care of my kids in the best of my abilities is actually doing the worship of the Lord, will help you get your conscience clear from that. And that's the kind of detachment we are talking about. To your previous question about detachment, right, that we answered, is the same thing. You ask, how can we feel detached from our loved ones? The fact is you are considering those people who are in your immediate family as your loved ones is the problem. Advaita philosophy teaches you to see that Advaita Tattva, that Paramatma in each and everyone in the humanity. So all of you are my loved ones. When I say that, then everybody becomes loved ones to me. Then there is no question about whether I am loving this person more or that person more. Just because he or she happens to be my family member. So detachment is not about not loving others. Detachment is about getting involved in others emotionally, but still be able to love everyone. So if you expand the horizon of your loved ones and grow towards your samaj, your dharma, your rashtra, your humanity, and that's where we are talking about entire humanity. That's the Advaita philosophy. Just want to connect it to the first question that we started with, right? If you only focus on your loved ones as your family, then you get stuck with that. And how do I get detached? How is it even possible? And am I even doing the right thing by saying that I need to get detached from my parents or my kids? How is that? That's such a stupid sentence. What are you talking about? No, it's not possible. That's the immediate reaction comes. But if you expand the vision and horizon towards the entire humanity, you can love to each and every one of them. The same way you love your daughter and son. And you're not getting too attached with your loved ones only because they are also his, I am also his, and everyone else is also his. Then that's where the samatha comes. That's where the equality comes. And that's when you don't necessarily feel too obligated towards your parents or your kids or your family members, and you can still love them with the detachment without getting too involved emotionally. And this applies to everyone. Yeah.
And I'll just tell one other guideline which really helped us in the beginning days of when we started on the spiritual path. Like you are pulled in 50 different directions, right? You are, as I said, your parents, your siblings, your elders, your spouse, your profession, you are pulled in 50 different directions. So, and then some of them are helpful, some of them are giving very adverse reactions to your spiritual study, and you don't know how to balance the roles between all these different fields. So one guidance that our Guru gave us in the initial days was, it's a very beautiful little sentence, that he said, when it comes to your duties towards everyone, including your spouse, and we both were there at that time when he first said it, draw a boundary, draw a line, and say thus far and no further. Everyone understands? Thus far, this is the extent of my duty towards you and no further. And genuinely, when you draw that line, just understand your own priorities and for yourself, draw that line once and for all. So for example, as a mother, it is my duty to feed good food to my children, right? Maybe fresh, healthy food, and define whatever that means for you and your family. That's a part of duty. But if he asks me for pizza and pasta and exotic food every day, is it part of my duty? So similarly, if I learn to draw a line everywhere in every profession, every role of mine, that this is my duty. So when it comes to parents, food, shelter, clothing, medicinal needs, and to some extent satisfying their emotional needs is part of my duty to an extent, right? If my mother is sick, it is my duty, first and foremost duty, leave your meditation aside, leave your Gita aside, go and take her to the hospital, give her the medicines, it's part of the duty. But if my mother wants to go for shopping because there is a new sale out there on the shopping mall, is it part of a duty? Or if she wants to sit down and watch TV with me, this is a new TV serial, I want to watch the next episode, is it part of a duty? So define what is duty. Do the duty thus far and no further. And when you learn to draw a boundary in that manner, that no further time can be devoted to your spiritual practice without feeling guilty. Now, after I have done my duty, they can be very happy with whatever I have done, they can be very unhappy. They can praise me, they can criticize me, they can be completely neutral, or they just, whatever reaction they may have should not affect my spiritual practice, because I know in my mind that to the best extent possible I have done what could be done for them. So if that line can be drawn every time, everywhere, thus far and no further, just don't go and tell it to them, okay, this is my boundary. Don't declare your line. It's very important in a family setting to keep some of these things very, very subtle, hidden and as covered as possible. The detachment becomes a problem when you express it, right? Or talk about it. Don't go from this retreat at home and say, okay, I'm not going to pasta for you. Don't do that. If we are strategic enough in our communication, the detachment can be kept very hidden. Outside we can be very engaged. Outside, if whoever is crying, we can be unhappy to show him that I'm sharing the grief. You don't have to be unhappy within while sharing the grief or whatever sad moment that he or the other people are having.
In Paramartha, it is very important to mask yourself and hide your true self. You don't have to show off the way we try to. You don't keep yourself to yourself, keep your true self to yourself, keep it being blissful, and try to take care of the family without telling that this. It's important. Acting. You may think that, oh, is that not cheating? Well, you may call whatever it is, but we discussed earlier, you need to be very, very selfish in Paramartha. Swath to begin with. Get your ideas right, get your priorities right, get your spiritual practices right, make the progress, identify and understand the knowledge that is getting presented by Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures in Vedanta, and then you can understand and then apply it more broadly. Otherwise it becomes a loser's job. जैसे उन्होंने कहा जब ना घर का ना घाट का. Now your kids are detached from you because you are showing detachment, you are not talking to them and they start hating you for that. Oh my God. There are so many broken families I have seen who have started on the spiritual journey and the kids are so annoyed with that because my mom and dad, they don't take me to movies anymore. My mom and dad, they don't take me to the parties anymore. And what kind of a dad is this? He always, wherever we want to go out, why do you always have to go to the temple places only? I want to go to Abu Dhabi, for example, or whatever, right? Dubai or Singapore, amusement parks. Why do you always have to go to Kedarnath and Badrinath? Right? These are the reactions that the kids have shared, and that is not good for the parents, and it kind of not good for the kids also. So that's what I'm saying. Keep it hidden.
We have some questions.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello. I have two questions. One is like I've seen some patterns, like mother will suffer and the daughter also will suffer the same path. Do we have to consider that is their karma they're suffering, or is there a way to come out of the suffering? It's like
I didn't get your question. Can you please hold it?
So I have seen some paths, like some way of life, some families. For example, mother will suffer some kind of disease, same will daughter will suffer, or some kind of toxic person, same daughter also will have some kind of toxic person. Is it we have to consider this is their karma, mother and daughter, consecutive life they are suffering, or is there a way to come out of this, or is this just a vibration, subconscious mind we have and we have to change it?
So both answers are correct. All answers that you gave are correct. It's their karma, number one, yes, that's why they are suffering. Number two, it's their just thinking, subconscious mind that is playing and acting, and it's definitely they can come out of it by doing the chanting of the name Lord's name or by understanding the philosophy that we are trying to learn here. When they understand the true self, true nature of who they are, all suffering will evaporate completely. That's your answer.
I just want to add to that. When he says all suffering will evaporate, it doesn't mean that the other person will stop being toxic to you. The other person will continue his toxicity. You will stop feeling that it is toxic behavior. With your spiritual practice and spiritual evolution and understanding. The disease will continue. You will stop suffering because of the disease. So the relationship, understand, this is very important to understand. But Bhagavad Gita is not trying to change or adjust the outside world according to your convenience or for your pleasure. Bhagavad Gita is, or Vedanta or any Upanishad is not trying to fix the outside world for you, for your betterment, for your pleasure. Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads are trying to fix the world inside of you. They are trying to fix your perspective to look at the outside world. And once the internal perspective changes, the same situation, the same person, the same toxicity, the same disease, the same pain stops bothering you. And if you can get that clear in your head once and for all, you will know the purpose why we should be studying the Bhagavad Gita. We will not be going to any guru with the request, okay, I'm giving you 100 rupees, give me 200 rupees. As long as we have incorrect expectations from this field, there will be incorrect people trying to give and cater to our incorrect needs. If I have the correct, accurate necessity and need, and if I recognize that, my accurate necessity will be accurately solved.
Second question, it's similar to that pattern, but I just want to understand it. See, people have a lot of problems. Generally, they'll come to astrologer or some other places. They'll say, this is a problem, I want to solve that problem. They give some solution like, do Parayana like Lalita Sahasranamam, Vishnu Sahasranamam, 48 days, and you go to temple. Eventually that problem will get solved. My question here is, in those kind of people they're coming, is it possible for them to understand what philosophy we are talking about? But anyhow, when we go into the spiritual path only, we can come to this stage. Without the first step, we can't go to the what we are discussing, right?
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those people, it is important to continue on the path that they are. Going to the astrologers, asking for some remedy, right? There are scriptures and stotras written by Adi Shankaracharya, for example, Kanakadhara Stotra, where the poverty of a particular old lady was removed by that particular stotra, right? Chanting of those Vishnu Sahasranam and Lalita Sahasranam, and the effects of that is there. But you need to understand, that's one problem you are trying to solve or fix. There will be another problem. 2 days down the line, there will be a third problem. Another complex issue. Every time you keep doing these things, is this going to help you? Or you want to understand the true philosophy, understand the knowledge behind this, figure out who you are truly, and then solve all problems permanently, forever. Right? The ignorance of who we are is the cause of these kind of problems. Oh, I am poor. Oh, I am suffering with this particular thing. Oh, I have this disease. Or all the issues that you talked about. It is all because of the ignorance. Once you have the knowledge of who you truly are, then that problem just, as I said, evaporates. Again, the problem evaporates means the problem will be there, but the way you approach to that problem or look at the problem, it will be completely a different jnana drushti, as they say, right? The knowledge, the sight of knowledge, or you start seeing the world in a different view, if I may say so.
And just to add to this, like, there are many people who go down that path, and that's what I think Teja just explained, that there are 4 types of devotees. And in our religion, in our spiritual path, it is completely allowed for you to be on in any one of these categories or all of them to some extent. So there are majority of the people are meant to be Artha Bhaktas, majority of the mankind, who for removing their suffering will go to God, and God says they are dear to me. Because ultimately for solving the suffering they have come to me, and God will help them in some or the other way. There are people who don't want to remove the suffering, but they want to progress to a better worldly life, better version of worldly life. They go to God and God will help them get to the higher and better worldly life. So by whatever desire I approach the God, He will reciprocate in the same manner. And He says all these devotees are dear to me. So definitely continue whichever category, Artha, Jinyasu, Artharthi, Jnani, nothing is wrong, nothing is inferior. Continue on whichever path you are. And the more you keep connected to the God, He will take care of the fact that you evolve from the Artha stage to the Artharthi, to the Jinyasu, to the Jnani. Eventually, He takes care of your own spiritual progression and evolution as well. So I may not have the power to influence the other person to go from this category to the other person, but God will switch him at the right time from this to that.
We take
We have two more
two more
questions.
questions. Yeah.
I have a question with respect to the Mahabharata, a question related to Mahabharata. So, when we see Lord Krishna, Lord Krishna, we consider him to be having all the 16 qualities and everything. Yeah? So, one question related to this detached engagement. When it comes to the father-son relationship between Bhagwan Sri Krishna and his own son Sam, his own son fought for Duryodhana and was responsible for destruction of the Yadava clan. So I always have this conflict. When Bhagwan Sri Krishna gave knowledge to the entire world, everybody, Arjuna and everyone, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, why did his own son kind of went against him? Did he? So, I mean, I do not understand this. So this is, if somebody can explain.
He did not get the wisdom because he did not ask for it. The first rule of Bhagavad Gita, you should only teach to a person who wants to learn Bhagavad Gita. The problem that he said that I want my son to learn Bhagavad Gita, I want my neighbor, I want my sister, I want my brother to learn Bhagavad Gita, they are not interested. So what I want, it doesn't matter. What Krishna wants doesn't matter. Sam did not want to learn the right way of life, the right way of action, which is why Krishna, even if though he was his son, he did not teach it to him. Which is why, we said it, want the right thing in life and you will get the right thing. If you want the wrong thing, you will get the wrong thing.
And Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan didn't teach Bhagavad Gita to the whole world. Remove that misconception. He only taught to Arjuna. Because Arjuna was the one who was asking the question. Arjuna was the one who was dear to Bhagwan. Arjuna was the one who was very Shuddhamati and Sumana. There is a description of that as to how the qualities of Arjuna, the true seeker, is. Bhagavad Gita could have taught Bhagwan could have taught Bhagavad Gita to Duryodhana also and could have avoided the war. Why didn't he do that? He was Bhagwan, right? Why didn't he influence and convince Duryodhana to give up or Dhritarashtra to give up the war? Mahabharata ka war hi nahi hota tha. Everybody would have been happy. But that didn't happen. So asking that question doesn't make sense. Remove that question from your mind as to why Sam was like that. Typically the kids don't listen to their fathers. If you haven't understood that yet, then probably that's what I'm saying, I know. Alright, yeah.
Namaste. There was a question on the detachment some half an hour back also. And there was also this question. So I don't have a question. I just want to make a small supplement. If you permit me, I will just make my comment. My guru says that when we are trying to solve a problem or when we are trying to get out of a difficult situation, our very anxiety to solve the problem makes the solving of the problem more complicated. So he says that the first thing that we should do is to avoid getting obsessed with the solving of the problem and avoid the anxiety. And that is a kind of detachment that one has to develop. It doesn't come on day one, but it has to be developed with a lot of practice. That's all. Thank you.
Correct. That's the example that the surgeon who went on to go in the surgery wanting to do the job, right? What we just say is the exact same thing here. The anxiety of seeing his own son there lying on the bed for me to operate, that was the attachment that the surgeon got confused with. Alright.
Yes.
I think we have to come to end. So, just a fun factor at the end, a rapid fire round for you both, but not many words. Because it was a lot. I think it's a lot of burden now. Yes. So I will ask you, Pramod Dada, I will give you 5 words and one after the other, and whatever comes to your mind, a word or one brief sentence, you say it.
I'll try.
But as fast as you can.
First time we are doing this by the way.
Me too. So, moksha,
Liberation,
guru,
seva,
shraddha,
Shraddha. There is no word for Shraddha. Blind faith.
have sentence as well.
So, okay, one sentence. Shraddha means Andhashraddha. Just remember that. You may object, we can have a debate and discussion afterwards on this particular topic. But Shraddha means blind faith to what Guru is saying. And that's it. And Shastras are saying. And that's it. Don't object, don't ask. Asking is clarification question. But Shraddha means blind faith. What is Andhashraddha? It's a completely different topic. We can talk about it a little later.
Next one. Karma, bhakti or jnana.
Bhakti.
And the last one. Shravan.
Manan. More important than Shravan. What we have heard today is a Shravan, and one must do Shravan a lot before we get to the decision. But where we miss out is on Manana. Manan is more important than Shravan.
Now I have 5 rapid fire questions for Mukta Tai. You have to, right? So, start.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Paramatma.
Vairagya,
Happiness.
Ishwar,
Love.
Krupa, grace,
Luck.
Vivek or Vichar.
Vivek.
Okay, I'll just give Vivek.
Differentiating between what is eternal and what is non-eternal.
Okay.
What was your answer for Vairagya? I didn't get that.
Happiness.
Happiness.
Happiness. With this, we end this wonderful session. I hope that you might have got some of the answers clarified, some of the your questions clarified. I know there will be many questions. We still have one more day.
We only finish half.
Yeah, we only.
hours.
Yeah. So,
I just want to congratulate everyone for staying awake. It's very rare to see open eyes through the afternoon Vedanta sessions. More half of them are closed. So, congratulations for staying awake.
that's why we have.